Hello everyone, welcome back to the True You podcast. If you're listening to this, hello. If you're watching this, hi. And before I get started with today's episode, if you're not following me over on Instagram at Vicki Reckless, then please do, because it's a whole party over there. It's great. That's where I share my my daily life and my daily reminders and a lot of body realness, a lot of dance parties, and yeah, it's just a great time over there. And if you want to chat to me, then please do. My DMs are always open. And yeah, I just thought I'd say that before I get started with today's episode. And just to let you know, I have something coming. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I have something coming that is going to be such a big freaking party. What am I even saying? Like, I'm so excited about this. It's just going to be a safe space to feel comfortable, to grow, to evolve, to learn together, a sense of community. Like, it's gonna be a whole vibe. Like, it's gonna be so comfy and homely, and I love it. So yeah, just to let you know, the podcast listeners always get the juicy deets first. So yeah, but today, welcome to episode 4. Episode 4. I'm not going to be able to keep up with how many episodes I've done. But anyway, today we're talking your no BS guide to body acceptance. Body acceptance is what I am known for. Well, I don't know if you know me, but you know. Body acceptance is my jam. It is my calling in life. It is what brings me the greatest joy to teach people, to support women, to just accept what they have. And having body acceptance has quite literally changed my life. Like, I don't know if you've listened to my first episode of this podcast, but I spoke a lot about my journey with the difficult times that I've had with my body growing up, the constant war that I was at with my body. It's been a source of anger and frustration throughout my whole life. And growing up in competitive environments, I put a lot of pressure on what I looked like. Going into uni, put a lot of pressure into outside validation, and all of that came from like wanting people to like what I looked like. And so my body became a symbol for success and for love and for friendship and for just generally being accepted in life. And I think that is a great place to start with our conversation around body acceptance, is that a lot of the time, having body acceptance quite often isn't just about your body. A lot of the time it has nothing to do with your body, because our body actually becomes a symbol for all of the bad feelings that we have towards ourselves. So my body represented failure, or it represented being the outsider in situations. So like if a boy didn't like me, I thought, I just immediately blamed my body. I thought, oh, my body isn't good enough. I don't look skinny enough. I don't look attractive enough. Like, that was immediately where I went to. And switching up that mindset and changing the way that I felt about my body literally changed everything for me. Yeah, it is a process. 100%. It's a difficult process, and it's one that's taken me years. And even now, it's getting to a place of accepting where I'm at. Like, it's not toxic positivity. I don't preach that. Like, I'm not there for toxic positivity, because that's just not it. Like, the other week, someone messaged me on Instagram saying, how do you stay so positive all the time? And I was just there like, I don't try to be positive all the time. Like, I just accept whatever happens on a day-to-day basis, because we're human beings, right? We are bound to have different emotions. We are bound to feel negative sometimes. We are bound to have difficult emotions that come up, because life isn't all sunshines and rainbows. And I think that it would be a disservice to us as human beings for me to be there like, yeah, you need to be positive 100% of the time, because that's just not realistic. And that puts so much pressure on yourself to be something that it's just not possible to be, I don't think. And yeah, having body acceptance and working on a really positive mindset has helped me to see the positives in negative situations, and it's helped me to get myself out of ruts and out of unhelpful thought patterns. But I'm not sitting here being like, yeah, I'm positive 100% of the time, because body acceptance and self-acceptance is about accepting where you are right now, about accepting your flaws, accepting everything that makes you you, and being okay that you might not like every part of yourself, you might not be in love with every part of yourself, but it is what makes you you, it is what makes you unique, and no one else has what you have. And that is your superpower. So having body acceptance is not about being completely in love with every single thing about yourself. It's about being at peace with who you are, being at peace with what you have, and just living your life regardless, like living your life without focusing and fixating on what you look like all the time. And for me, that was the biggest shift and the biggest positive that has come from accepting my body, is that I can literally just live my life without the constant thought in my head of, I wonder if I look okay, like, oh, I wonder if I look fat in this, I wonder if everyone's judging me for what I'm wearing, I wonder like if I will make friends or if they'll like me for what I look like, and all of this. It just drowns out the negative voice, the unhelpful inner critic that just used to drown me. It really, really did. So body acceptance is so important, and it will literally flood into every single area of your life and your existence. So let me be the one to tell you that going on a body acceptance journey, it is a journey for a reason, and the greatest thing you can do when starting out on your body acceptance journey is to start practicing compassion for yourself and for everyone around you, because the way that you talk to other people is a direct reflection of how you will talk to yourself. So I know that a lot of the time, I mean, some people don't really resonate with that, because it can be easier to be really kind to your friends and be really horrible to yourself, because I've been there. Like, no one's going to be horrible to their friends and then like kind to themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes that doesn't really make sense, but I promise you, the more that you are kind and not judgmental of other people, because we are so conditioned to have our silent judgments of others and our silent comparisons to others all the time. And once you start halting that judgment in its tracks, your brain will take that cue and will stop judging yourself as much as well. So one thing that I really started to do in my body acceptance journey was I was starting to question who I surrounded myself with and what I surrounded myself by, what kind of conversations I was having, what kind of narratives all of my friends were kind of being part of. And sometimes that requires difficult conversations. Sometimes that requires a lot of honesty with yourself to be like, oh, maybe this friendship isn't for me anymore. Maybe this doesn't serve my body acceptance journey. Because if we're constantly surrounded by people that are judging others by what they look like, judging other people's bodies, I mean, I can probably think of a handful of conversations where someone has been like, oh, that person's gained a lot of weight, haven't they? Like, she's really let herself go. Or like, I'm so shocked, she looks so much bigger than when we last saw her, or something. And it just makes me feel sick. Like, it just makes me feel like just hurt inside, because I'm just like, our bodies should never be a topic of conversation. Like, whether you think it's good, or whether you think it's a good thing, whether you think it's coming from a good place or not, which, you know, yeah, if you think it's coming from a good place or not, I really just think compliment someone's personality instead. Like, ask yourself, I wonder what they're going through right now, I hope they're okay, rather than like, oh, she has put on a few pounds since we last saw her. Like, stop that in its tracks. And I know it's so easy to kind of get dragged down in these kind of narratives, especially if you're gossiping with your friends. Like, but change up the conversation, or just remove yourself from that situation, remove yourself from the conversation. Say, I'm really sorry guys, this just isn't serving me right now. Like, I don't really want to discuss this. I just think we should show a bit more compassion for whoever we are talking about right now. Like, I just think, let's not judge, because we don't know what everyone else is going through. And the more that we stop judging others, the more we will stop judging ourselves. It is a full circle. It's the circle of life. Anyway, so yeah, that was a big factor for me, and something that I didn't even realize I needed to change, because it was just so normal. Like, it was normal for everyone to kind of meet up and just be negative about themselves, like negative about their job, negative about like just making kind of, you know, those jokes. Is it self-deprecating jokes? I think that's the right way of saying it. Yeah, like self-deprecating jokes, like laughing at yourself and like saying, oh, I'm so stupid, like, oh, I'm such an idiot, like, huh. And that is the kind of narrative that we need to stop in our tracks, because the more that, even like, our brain does not process jokes, right? Like, if you say something to yourself, your brain is just going to believe it, even if you meant it as a joke. Like, your brain doesn't know that. Your brain is just hearing you tell yourself that you're an idiot, or tell yourself that you're fat, or whatever. I mean, that is another topic of conversation in itself. Fat is literally just something that as humans we have. And like, fat is an energy store, right? So can we just stop using fat as a descriptor? Like, why and when did fat become a negative thing? Because it didn't used to be. And this is the reason why we have so much negativity towards our body, because we've been conditioned to believe that fat equals ugly, or fat equals not good enough. Whereas if we just see fat as what it is it literally an energy store, then it will take so much pressure off of ourselves. But I feel like I digress. So let's get back on track. Your no BS guide to body acceptance. What does it actually take to get the acceptance of your body that you so deserve to have? We've talked about how important it is. We've talked about like what body acceptance actually allows you to do and have and feel. Like, it just allows you to feel at peace. So yeah, the first thing that I mentioned was switching up who and what you are surrounded by, and ceasing those judgments in their tracks. And that changes everything, because your support network is literally the backbone of everything, right? So yes, all of this work, it's done by and for ourselves, and we are the only person that we are going to be with for the rest of time, which is something that I always remind myself of. But on the other side of that, who you surround yourself with, the energy that you surround yourself by, that is what I mean by your support network. So that can be the TV shows that you watch, it can be the books that you read, it can be the social media that you consume, the types of channels that you watch, the podcasts that you listen to. So just listening to this is a great thing to do. But yeah, your support network, it doesn't have to necessarily be your friends and family, but your support network definitely does include friends and family if you have friends and family in your life right now. And yeah, it's just about assessing where the energy drainers are, where the most, who are you surrounded by when you come away and you feel energized rather than de-energized and drained. Like, what conversations have you been having? Who have you been having them with? What were the topics of conversation? In the initial stages of your body acceptance journey, it is crucial to start asking yourself those kind of questions and to start assessing your surroundings to see where the leaks are, to see what isn't supporting your journey and your progress right now. So yeah, who you surround yourself with is so important. And that's another reason why I started this episode to say, come and follow me over on Instagram, come and hang with me over there, because just being surrounded by people that are on the same journey as you and that are literally here, like, my living purpose is to help you feel more comfortable in your body. So yeah, come and hang out, come and say hey, let me know that you've come from my podcast. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you. So yeah, your support networks are vital. Number 2 in your no BS guide to body acceptance is commitment. I've touched on this a little bit, but you have to make a commitment to make a change. It's all well and good you talking to death about like feeling awful in your body and really wanting to make a change, and this is a bit of a harsh truth and I'm so sorry, but also I'm here to be your loving, supporting companion on this journey. You can talk it to death about wanting to accept yourself and wanting to make a change and wanting to dull down that harsh inner critic, but to actually make a change, you have to commit to yourself. And in itself, making a commitment to yourself to do this work builds so much self-trust. And through self-trust, you build so much self-confidence and self-acceptance. They all work hand in hand, because the more you just make tiny little commitments to yourself, the more confidence you have in yourself and in your relationship with yourself. So think about like a time when a friend, you've like planned to meet for a coffee with a friend, and like 5 minutes before they cancel on you, or they make up an excuse and they're like, oh, I can't meet anymore. And so immediately you're a bit like, oh, okay, I hope you're okay. It's a bit short notice, but you know. And then next week you're like, oh, let's meet up again. You plan this meet and you're so excited and you get ready and you do makeup, and then you look at your phone and you've got a message saying, actually, can we push the meeting to 1 o'clock instead of 10? And then it's, oh, can we actually do it at 2 o'clock? Wait, actually, can we do it tomorrow? And this cycle just continues over and over again. Are you gonna feel confident in this person as a friend? Are you gonna wanna keep meeting up with this person, or not even meeting up with this person because they keep cancelling on you? No, you're not gonna want to, because this person just keeps letting you down over and over again. And this is what happens when you start telling yourself that you want to make a change, but then you actually don't ever make a commitment. It's like, well, one day I'll do this. Let this be your day one. I've just posted a reel about that actually on Instagram. It's just reminded me. It was The Rock, and it was a voiceover by The Rock, and he was like, day one, one day or day one day or day one. And I absolutely loved it, and it just like so resonated as well, because it's like, yeah, one day I'll do this, one day I'll go for my goals, one day I'll go traveling, one day I'll love myself. Or is it day one? Is it day one? Can you choose for this to be day one, that you commit to yourself? Day one, that you choose that this is not the path that you want anymore. You don't want to be tearing yourself down every chance you get. Today is day one where you commit to the life that you've always dreamed of. Day one of accepting yourself, of showing yourself compassion, of getting rid of the outside negative judgments and negative opinions, starting to become aware of the thoughts that come in, of where you're, of what narrative you're feeding yourself on a daily basis. So you have to commit to make a change in any way that feels good for you. It can be the smallest thing. So a small commitment that I began to make to myself was journaling every single day, starting to bring in that habit of getting to know my own mind. And for me, that wasn't actually too difficult, because I've been journaling since junior school. Like, it's been something that's been kind of on and off, but I've always loved just getting in touch with myself. But especially when you're on a journey to accepting your body, journaling, getting out everything that's in your mind is crucial. Another habit that I started to bring into my world was to just meet myself where I was at with like neutral affirmations. So like seeing my body as a body, seeing everything that it does for me, rather than like everything it hasn't allowed me to do or everything that it lacked. I just made a conscious effort to start reframing those thoughts, and that is a process as well. And that's why I always recommend to clients to go from a negative statement about yourself. So it might be like, I hate my curvy hips, I hate my stretch marks or something, and then you move it on to a neutral statement. So it could be, I have curvy hips, I have stretch marks, and that is okay. And then when that starts to feel good, you then start to bring in evidence of like what they have allowed you to do, and what that says about your body, the amazing quality that brings to you, and the uniqueness that brings for you. So I love my curvy hips because they are unique to me, and they are so feminine and gorgeous. And I love my stretch marks because they are signs of my womanhood, of the journey that I've been through, and they are so unique and personal to me. They are literally a map of my life and my existence. And how beautiful is that? So yeah, moving from negative to neutral to positive affirmations. And I do that when I am like brushing my teeth, or I write them in my journal, or whatever feels good that doesn't feel like you're literally having to shift everything and like change your whole day, because it's so much easier to build in a habit when you stack it onto something else. It's called habit stacking. So when you stack it to something else that you already do every single day, so it might be brushing your teeth. If you're not brushing your teeth every day, then why not? Anyway, that is off topic. So switch up your support network, switch up who you're surrounded by, make a commitment to yourself to make the change. Start building self-trust into your routine in any way that looks for you. So make yourself a cup of tea and go and sit outside every single day. Do a 5-minute meditation every single day. Start journaling every single day. Start reading a self-help book every single day. Make some sort of commitment, and through that you start to build that self-confidence and that self-trust. And I truly believe that body acceptance and confidence are two separate things, but they intertwine so nicely. Like, once you are on your journey to body acceptance, you start to become more confident because you see yourself as more than a body. And as you get more confident, your body no longer matters because you see yourself for that unique human, that well-rounded individual with so much going on for you that has nothing to do with your body. So that is why I teach confidence and body acceptance to my clients, and that is everything that my brand and my business encompasses, because they work so well hand in hand. So yeah, building self-trust builds self-confidence and builds body acceptance through all of the ways I've just mentioned. And next in your no BS guide to body acceptance is the way that you talk to yourself matters. So start catching those negative statements and those negative thoughts that come in, and ask yourself, is this what my highest self, with complete body acceptance, is this what they would say to myself right now? And if it's not, then what would you say to yourself instead? And the more that you catch those statements, the more that you begin to bring awareness to them and to start reframing them from a more positive place, the more your brain will just resort to that. It's all to do with our neural networks. You know, the more we condition our brain to expand the positive neural network and start using that, like I always say, it's like a motorway versus an overgrown country road. The overgrown country road is the positive self-talk. The motorway is the negative self-talk. The negative self-talk is busier, it's used more frequently, and that is what we resort to. And the positive self-talk is the overgrown country road that is not used as often. It's a bit difficult to go down sometimes. It doesn't feel as natural to go down there. But the more that you use that road, the wider it will become and the less overgrown it will be. And then it will just start to become more of a highway. And as that expands, the motorway will dim down. It will squash down and be less frequently used. I'm not saying that it will never be there, but it is less frequently used. So yeah, that is my favourite analogy. So the more that you practice positive self-talk, the more it will just become your norm. Okay, the next point in your No BS guide are physical things that you can actually do today. You have to get rid of the shackles. And by shackles, I mean the measuring tape, the scales, the before and after pictures, the Fitbit, right? Let that sink in. I'm sorry. Like, unless you actually really want and need your Fitbit, like, for me, I mean, my Fitbit was great for like getting a notification or seeing the time, but ever since taking off my Fitbit, I took it off because the strap broke, and then I was just like, I feel so free. I feel so unchained to this device that's telling me to get up and move, or telling me that I haven't hit my 10,000 step goal. Like, we need to just release the pressure in any way possible. So get rid of your measuring tape. I know that I used to literally measure every part of my body every single month, and I literally used to write it in a book. I don't know if I could find that somewhere. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I used to write it in a book to keep track of my measurements to see if my body had changed or to see how much smaller, and it would literally send me into a spiral every single month, because I'd just be looking at this book thinking, why haven't I gone down any centimeters or inches or whatever I used to measure it in? Why hasn't it changed? Why haven't I got smaller? And when I went up a few centimeters or an inch or whatever, I used to beat myself up. I used to just cry in my room and just feel absolutely shit about myself. And I've shared this on my Instagram stories quite a lot. I used to take countless before photos and videos. Every single video that I took, I was like, this is my before photo. This is my before photo. Like, in 6 months' time, I'm going to look so much skinnier, and then I'll have an after photo to finally share. This is my before photo. Like, and I look back at those photos now and it makes me so sad, because all I see now is a beautiful body doing all of the things that a beautiful body does. Like, it makes me so upset that I used to think that way about my body. So the next time that you go to take a before picture to assess what your body looks like, think to yourself, how can I show my body compassion instead? Sometimes I literally just sit there and give myself a hug. And I know that sounds like so weird, but sometimes you just need to give yourself a hug. Like, wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug and say, it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to be anything that you're not right now. You are okay as you are. And sometimes it's just as simple as that. So remove the shackles. Cleanse your mind of them. And I know that might feel like the most daunting thing ever. I might be like, what? There's no way I can possibly get rid of my scales. Like, how will I know how much I weigh? Like, what? And that, yeah, I completely get that, because I was like that. And trust me, it is the most liberating thing you will ever do. Just get rid of them completely, or at the very least shove them to the back of a cupboard that you never really use. Just get rid, out of sight, out of mind, and just start shifting your perspective. Whenever you reach for those items, do something instead that makes you feel good. Have a dance, connect with nature, read a book, journal out your feelings, do something else that shows yourself compassion and kindness. And that brings me to my final point, which leads very nicely from the compassion that I've just said about. This is an action that I'd like you to take today. Write yourself a compassion list. So that is 20 things that your body allows you to do right now. 20 things that your body has allowed you to do in the past. 20 things that might include the memories that your body has allowed you to create. The more that we flood our brains with the positive things that our body has allowed us to do, the more that we shift our perspective from hating our body. Because a note to end on is, our body is the least interesting thing about us. The way that we look is the least interesting thing about us, because it's always going to change, right? When we're 70 years old, we're going to wish that we look like we do now. So, yeah, we are okay as we are right now. And it's okay to accept yourself right now. This is your permission slip. You don't need to look like the people in the magazines, because the people in the magazines don't even look like the people in the magazines. You are okay as you are right now. You are more than okay as you are right now. You are beautiful, unique, and worthy of love. So yeah, that is your no BS guide to body acceptance. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode or YouTube video. If you're watching on YouTube, then subscribe and leave me a comment and a like, letting me know if you enjoyed today's video. And if you're watching if you're listening to the podcast version of this episode, then please leave me a review. I think it's like a rating. Yeah, please do that. And if you would like support and guidance for your body acceptance journey, I will be more than happy to support you. I have my one-to-one program right now, which includes weekly calls with me, daily Voxer support, a tailored support guide for you. I write you action steps for each week, affirmation scripts to use. I write up every single one of our sessions and hold you accountable every single day to feel good in your body, to put yourself first, and to go after the dream life and acceptance in yourself that you've always craved. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please apply for my one-to-one coaching program through the show notes. And yes, if not, then I will see you soon, speak to you soon on Instagram. And yes, goodbye. See you next week, everyone. Lots of love.